My name is Marilyn Easter,
I'm Jack Easter,
and we are married and have been for a long time,
23 years.
but not as long as a lot of the people who live here have been.
Okay, so how did you become a Christian?
I was raised by people who took us to church, but I never really had a real experience with becoming a Christian for myself until I had a friend who had muscular dystrophy. He was dying and asked me if I would take him down to the La Jolla Coves in California. So he asked me if I would take him to the coves and if I would just walk on the coves for him one time before he died. And so I told him, of course. It was after a night out driving him all around town and all the places that he loved while he lived there. And it was late, almost 11:30, when he asked me to do this. And so I went down and rode him up to and put him in his wheelchair at the top of the cliffs, and it was like 60 feet down to the beach. Beautiful moonlit night, but the moon was way up and behind us on the back side of us. So when I asked him, how do I get down there? He said there are some well-worn steps down the side of the cliff face. You just have to be really careful going down in the dark. And so I climbed down the steps, and I was really self-conscious when I kicked my shoes off. I don't like sand in my shoes. Started walking barefoot across the coves, and I was self-conscious until I got out to the edge of the water. And when I got out to the edge of the water, I looked up and I was expecting a horizon, a place where the big ocean was going to end and the sky was going to start, and with the moon behind us and it being dark in front of us, there was no horizon. So I'm standing there at the beach, and I've forgotten all about what I was doing there, and I'm being caught up in the moment of this beautiful darkness and hugeness of the universe. And I look up over top of me, almost going over backwards, and I finally started seeing the stars as they came into focus, and I was standing there just feeling so small in the immensity of everything around me. And as I was feeling the smallness, I felt like if I didn't hold on to something, I was just going to shrink down into the sand. Suddenly the thoughts came to me that I may not be significant here on the face of this earth, but I was significant enough to Jesus Christ that he died for me. And he would have done it if I was the only person on the face of this earth for him to die for. And I felt that, and I knew it, and it went right down it just went into the core of my heart. And I knew that I loved my Savior and that he loved me, and that's where it all really took off and began for me.
My grandfather was a Presbyterian minister, and I grew up going to church with my mother till I was probably 15. After I graduated high school, I was separated from my parents for a while, and I didn't get back to church for some time. And finally, after years, I married a lady that was in the church, and I was baptized in that church. So that's where my ministry came from.